The sun cast its golden hue over the streets of Austin, Texas, as Marcus Thompson, a 35-year-old marketing executive, navigated his way home after a taxing day at the office. His hybrid SUV glided smoothly along the road, the soft hum of the engine accompanied by the mellow tunes playing on the radio. Marcus adjusted the air conditioning, seeking respite from the lingering heat, eager to unwind from the day's stresses. As he approached an intersection, the traffic light transitioned from green to yellow. Marcus eased his foot off the accelerator, bringing the vehicle to a gentle stop as the light turned red. Suddenly, the flashing blue and red lights of a police cruiser illuminated his rearview mirror, followed by the piercing wail of a siren. He furrowed his brow in confusion, but promptly pulled over to the side of the road, lowering his window in anticipation. Officer Daniel Harper, a man in his mid-30s with a buzz cut and a badge gleaming on his chest, exited the patrol car. With a confident stride, he approached Marcus's vehicle, exuding an air of authority. "License and registration," Harper requested curtly, his tone devoid of warmth. Marcus complied without protest, retrieving his documents from the glove compartment and handing them over. His movements were deliberate and composed, yet he could sense Harper's scrutinizing gaze, as if searching for a reason to escalate the situation. "Do you know why I pulled you over?" Harper inquired, leaning closer to the window. "I'm not entirely sure," Marcus responded evenly, maintaining a polite yet firm tone. "You didn't come to a complete stop at the light," Harper stated, though a flicker of uncertainty crossed his face. Marcus frowned slightly but nodded. "I thought I slowed down in time, but I understand." Harper didn't respond immediately. Instead, he lingered, his eyes narrowing as he studied Marcus more intently. The atmosphere shifted. This was no longer a routine traffic stop. "You're not from around here, are you?" Harper asked, glancing at the license in his hand. Marcus hesitated briefly before replying, "I moved here a few months ago. My address is on the license." Harper seemed uninterested in the answer, his questions taking on a sharper edge. "Where were you headed in such a hurry?" "Just going home," Marcus replied, his tone steady, though the tension in the air was palpable. Harper's demeanor shifted subtly, his posture suggesting he had already made assumptions about Marcus. "Step out of the car for me," Harper ordered. Marcus's grip on the steering wheel tightened momentarily, but his expression remained neutral. "Is there a specific reason for that, officer?" Harper's lips twitched, but he quickly masked it. "I asked you to step out of the car. You don't want to make this harder than it has to be." The unspoken threat hung in the air. Marcus exhaled slowly and opened the door, stepping out of the vehicle. Harper's eyes flicked over him, sizing him up. Marcus stood taller than the officer, his tailored suit and polished shoes indicative of professionalism. Yet none of that seemed to matter. "Hands where I can see them," Harper instructed, gesturing toward the front of the car. Marcus complied, his movements calm and deliberate. "Is there something specific you're looking for, officer?" Harper smirked faintly. "Just routine. We've had some incidents around here. You can never be too careful." Marcus turned his head slightly, locking eyes with Harper. "Incidents involving men in business suits driving SUVs? Or does this have more to do with something else?" The question landed heavily. For a moment, Harper's composure faltered. He straightened up, his hand drifting toward his belt, a reflexive move. "Watch your tone," he said, his voice hardening. "I'm simply asking a question," Marcus replied, his voice unwavering. "Transparency, you know." Harper scoffed, but didn't reply. He paced a small circle in front of the car, clearly unsettled by Marcus's calm demeanor. "You seem pretty confident," Harper muttered, almost to himself, "like you think you know what's going to happen next." "Confidence isn't the issue here, officer," Marcus responded. "Respect is." Harper froze briefly before turning back to face him. The smirk was gone, replaced by a sharper, more defensive expression. He opened his mouth to reply, but hesitated. Marcus's composure was throwing him off balance. "Turn around and place your hands on the hood," Harper said, his voice clipped. "I need to check for weapons." Marcus raised an eyebrow. "Weapons?" he repeated, incredulous but still measured. "Do I look like someone who's carrying a weapon?" Harper's jaw tightened. I'm not going to ask you again. Marcus hesitated, a flicker of something unreadable passing across his face. Then, without a word, he turned and placed his palms flat against the hood of his car. Harper approached, the crunch of his boots on the asphalt breaking the uneasy silence. He patted Marcus down in quick, rough movements, his hands lingering longer than necessary. It wasn't just a search, it was an attempt to assert dominance, to provoke a reaction. But Marcus didn't flinch. "You're clean," Harper muttered, stepping back. Marcus turned to face him, his expression calm but his eyes sharp. "Of course I am. Now, officer, if you're done—" "I'm not done," Harper interrupted, his voice rising slightly. "You seem to know a lot about what I can and can't do. Care to explain why?" Marcus folded his arms, his posture relaxed despite the tension. "I've had my fair share of interactions with law enforcement. Let's just say I've learned a lot over the years." Harper's eyes narrowed. "That's so? You a lawyer or something?" Marcus smiled faintly. "Or something." The ambiguity in his answer seemed to irritate Harper further. He stepped closer, invading Marcus's personal space. "Listen, you think you're smarter than me? Think you can talk your way out of this?" Marcus met his gaze evenly. "I don't think anything, officer. I just believe in fairness, and so far, I'm not seeing much of it here." The words hung in the air like a challenge. Harper took the bait. "Fairness? You think fairness is what this is about? People like you always—" He stopped himself abruptly, the words lingering like smoke. Marcus's expression didn't change, but something about his posture shifted. A subtle but unmistakable signal that he'd caught exactly what Harper had left unsaid. "People like me," Marcus repeated, his voice soft but charged with meaning. Harper bristled, stepping back as if realizing he'd just crossed a line he couldn't uncross. "You know what I mean," he muttered, though his tone lacked the conviction it had moments earlier. "I think I do," Marcus replied quietly. His calmness wasn't passive anymore. It was razor sharp, cutting through the pretense like a blade. "And I think we both know this interaction stopped being about a traffic violation a long time ago." Harper opened his mouth to respond, but the words didn't come. For the first time, he looked uncertain, like he wasn't entirely sure how to proceed. The balance of power was shifting, and Harper was on shaky ground. Marcus's voice broke the heavy silence, steady and unyielding. "Officer, I think it's time you know who I am." Harper's brows,